Good morning, YouTube. So today I'm going to be talking more on this idea of the law of attraction. This blasted law of attraction that just is said to be a real thing. A law that could be compared to the law of gravity, that we can depend on gravity so that we don't fall off the earth, right? So we can depend on the law of attraction to, I guess, bring things into our life that we are wanting to bring into our life. So we are all creating our reality, whether we know it or not. So all day long, we're creating our reality. And part of this is our choices. So like you wake up in the morning, you say, okay, am I just going to lay here? Am I going to press the snooze button? Am I going to get out of bed? And then, am I going to have coffee and tea? Am I going to take my dog out? Like just all day long. We don't even realize because we are not conscious that we're doing this, but we are making choices all day long. So I want to talk about, I'm back on this idea of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So my son has grown accustomed to the fact that when he texts me, like even this week, he texted me, "Mom, will you go pick me up some candy?" Like, don't come home without candy. I'm like, okay. So like, do I sit there and do I say, is my son worthy? Does he deserve gummy bears this week? I don't go through this big, long, deep discourse, but he has grown accustomed to the fact that when I come home, I will be coming home with gummy candy for him when he asks. And a lot of times when he doesn't ask. So he has grown accustomed, my children have grown accustomed to like things being around the house that, they didn't even ask for, but that I know they like. So I make sure that it's around. But I really think that is the way that God, the universe source, really is. I think that all of this is based more on just the nature of God as being loving and giving and generous as it is on anything that we're doing. But anyway, let me get back, because I was thinking about this topic that, okay, so when we want something, theoretically we push it away. Okay, so you would think that when my son wanted the Ben & Jerry's ice cream, that it was pushing it away, but it really wasn't pushing it away, because when he put in his request for the Ben & Jerry's ice cream, I go and get the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. But it is said in the same circles that talk about the law of attraction and us creating our reality and all of this, all the theorists say that when you want something, you are focused on the absence of it. And so what ends up happening is, as we're focused on the absence of it, it goes away from us. It eludes us. It takes longer for it to come into our physical reality by our focus on the absence of it. Okay? So here's where my bugaboo is right now. I'm like, how do we not want what we want? Now I know they're gonna come at me and say, by believing you have it, by your belief that you have it. If you believed you had it, then you wouldn't want it. You would just know you already had it. But there are things in my life that I have been actively trying to have in my actual physicality that are not in my physicality. They're not in my physicality. And so there are times where I come back to reality and I I say to myself, it's not in my physical reality, and like what is going on? So I have to like readjust, I have to rethink about like what am I doing? If I'm responsible for my reality, what am I doing to push this experience away from me? Okay, so I'm like likening it to this, like just because I think it's funny. So every once in a while, I'm like on this kick where I want to eat healthy. Like, I'm really trying to fit into that gray pair of jeans, that I bought, and I really like them. And sometimes I can't button them. So I'm going to this party, and I really, really, and I see that cake, and I really want that piece of cake. I want that piece of cake, but that piece of cake is not consistent with me fitting into those gray jeans for that event. Okay, so what am I going to do? So I'm at the party, people are talking to me, and all I can think about is that cake. And I'm just being real. That's all I can think about is the cake. The cake. And not eating the cake. I'm not going to eat that cake. Nope, I'm not going to eat it. I don't want that cake. Oh my God, I really want that cake. I don't want that cake. I'm not going to think about that cake. I am not going to think about that cake. So the more time that we spend like not wanting something, it seems to just get bigger. Like, am I going to be satisfied? So like one of the things that I would do in the past and even do now is, okay, I'm not going to eat that cake. So I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy a healthier version. So I'm going to go buy, chocolate that doesn't have sugar in it. And, I'm going to like make different choices to satisfy my desire for that cake. And a lot of times I'm satisfied by that. Like every once in a while I'll eat an orange, like I'm craving sugar, so I go and I eat an orange and I'm satisfied. Sometimes I really want those peanut M&Ms and I don't want the cake, but it's so it's like, is that just a placeholder? Is it a placeholder for that thing that we really want, which was the cake? And I don't know, it's like, I know I did this YouTube about this a little bit ago, like when do we stop watering the plant? When do we stop watering it when it seems apparently dead? And I keep being hopeful. Like my mint plant this year, which peppermint is typically always like a perennial. Like it comes back every year, but this year my mint didn't come back. It just didn't. It is apparently dead. When are our ideas dead? And then I would say they're dead when we say they're dead, like it's our choice whether it dies or it doesn't die, right? I guess I have more questions than answers on this one. I just haven't quite figured it out. My head is like mostly like in the clouds. I'm like I live this like esoteric life. Like almost literally, like it's like this, I'm like in this dream state, and in my dreams, like everything that it's all like there. And then every once in a while I get bumped out and I come back to actually my physical reality and I and I and it just doesn't match up. So I'm going to end with this just because I think it's so bizarre. Last week I had 4 interviews. So I've been telling you all about this job situation. I had 4 interviews and it's now Wednesday, which doesn't seem like that long of a period of time, but I had gotten a phone call from one of them on Monday, and then I got an email on Monday late asking for me to send stuff to do a background check, and I had made a decision over the weekend about where I wanted to be, so I'm waiting on those job possible offers before I do anything else. And then yesterday I get this phone call from another agency, and so I have an interview on Friday with that agency. So I've got like all these like opportunities are just but they even seem esoteric. Like none of them have actually like come into like fruition. And it's so bizarre to me. It's so bizarre. It's just so weird. And I know, like in 2 weeks, this is going to all be resolved and all, one way or the other. But God, it's so weird. Nothing actually like goes as I think it's going to. So like, do we create our reality? Do we? I mean, it's just bizarre. Like, like, they like theorists. I'm going to go back to my theorists. They say that we give it to the universe to figure out the details. Is that ever going to be like perfectly aligned with our vision? I mean, is it, if it's sent out to the universe to figure out? I mean, I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just in one of my moments again where I'm like, I'm just not really sure how all this works. I'm just honestly saying that. I don't know how all this works. It's just so interesting. Anyway, love you guys. I'll be back.